Series is a series that myself and Alana, our host of M8triarch, have put together to really expose the unseen practice behind creative practice, and especially honoring artists and creators that are underrepresented or can be have been historically unseen, especially from the African diaspora. So I'm really happy to welcome Will here. Will was, when we kicked off the Unseen series, Will is our hold on, which one is like there's sound, there's sight.
The fifth sense.
The fifth sense. The fifth sense. So we actually have 8 senses of unseen, and you can probably guess the normal senses. Taste, Margot. I'm going to read just because so that I can keep names straight here. Margot from Cuisine Noire was actually our last unseen around taste. Jason Lin actually kicked off our one-on-one unseen series, and he runs Series Studio. So it was about space. He's an interior designer. Spirit is Asha from Asha's Place here in Lisbon. Communion and Access is Alana and the M8triarch Space.
We did that in September.
In September, for your birthday. Well, pre-birthday.
We don't need to share. The time was out.
Sound was with Saint Koboku from Dango Club, if you know Dango Club. Touch is from Billy Pita Gross from Vessel. He runs a practice of creating objects and tables and furniture from marble. And Commerce, it's myself, really as a facilitator, and really to talk about the practice, help us kind of deconstruct the practice in a way that we can each understand for our own practice, our own creative practice, whatever that endeavor is. It doesn't have to be sight, it doesn't have to be sound, it can be whatever your creative practice is. So at the end of this series, so now we're in our one-on-one sessions, at the end of this series, in January, February of next year, we'll be publishing a compendium of the insights that we learned from our one-on-one series. And those insights are intended to both inspire and help guide. So inspire connection, so especially connection between our artists who are from other places other than Portugal and become integrated into the creative community here, to connect with other Portuguese creatives and artists, as well as inspire, so to inspire other artists who want to come to this space, come to Lisbon, come to Portugal, come to Lisbon, come to M8triarch to practice kind of as so to kind of serve as some kind of a guide, if you will. So the way it usually goes, did I say everything?
You are amazing.
Amazing. We've had a few chances to practice this in perfection, right? Progress over perfection.
I'd like to
Yeah.
silently support.
Silent support. So welcome to the M8triarch Space. What we usually do in our unseen one-on-ones is we have a conversation with our artists and someone who has inspired them or they've collaborated with on their journey. And so we're joined virtually by Rhea Ramjohn. Say hi, Rhea.
Hello, Lisbon. Thank you for having me.
And Rhea's in Berlin, right? You're in Berlin right now.
Yes.
Fabulous.
And we have the opposite weather, so doesn't make sense.
What? Sunny
We
in Berlin?
have the opposite weather right now. It's so warm.
Oh, maybe we should move. Anyway, never. No more winters. No more winters for me. But I'm so glad to be in conversation with you both. And I'm gonna kind of kick off with just got a little bit of a run of show here. So we're going to have a little bit of a dialogue between us first, and then Will is going to share his newest, latest, and greatest instrument, BodyX. Yeah?
Yeah.
Did I introduce it?
You did.
Okay, thank you. All right. To kind of kick things off, I'm actually going to read from Will's catalog from his exhibit called Off Planet, that was at Kang Contemporary in Berlin. And Rhea, thank you for your words, and I hope I do them justice. Intention, imagination, the coder and composer of worlds. This is a quote from Will. I focus on the human connection and how technology can bring us closer instead of further apart. I show people tech in itself is neutral. It is the intention behind its fabrication and use that helps shape its impact. Let us imagine for a moment that we had at our fingertips the power to create worlds. Where would we break with current conventions of continuums and spatiality? How would we configure the structures, the mimetics, and the curation of an entirely new existence? Would we rewrite the formulas of what we've considered reality and utilize our power to code our most fantastical imaginations into lived experiences? WILLPOWER is a multidisciplinary artist, I would say transdisciplinary almost, focusing on light, sound, and how humans are affected by their environment. He utilizes coding and electronics as his paint and paintbrush. His artful combinations of open source technological programming, electrical and audio engineering, parametric architecture, corporal kinesthetics, along with his original compositions of sound, visual, and performance art, does more than equivocally ask us to imagine the creation of worlds. WILLPOWER actively invites us to quite literally step into the immersive and interactive audiovisual reality he manifests, readily experienced across all his work, but most especially in tangible human-scale installations such as Dimensional Door, which was one of the pieces in this show. The participatory environments he creates open new dimensions in the public's psyche, whereby the stimulation of the senses allows the audience to experience a state of fascination, including a progressive persuasion on his behalf to redefine humanity's boundaries, both physically and metaphorically, and sets paths that intersect and celebrate diversity. Wow. These are, welcome. That is poetry, literally, Rhea. I actually want to start with you. I've introduced Will in your words for his show. What inspired you, when you met Will the first time, what struck you immediately about him? Before you even saw his work, before you even kind of knew his background?
That I would have to do a lot of digging because he really is an artist who lets the work speak for itself. And so this project in 2020 was a chance to get him to express what it is he creates, but then also in not just in words, but to do it in English, you know, and then for a German-speaking audience, an international audience. So he, as you can see, he's like like a great vase filled with lots of wonderful things, but you need to be able to bring it out of him. And so his aura was very, very, very rich, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of questions.
Oh, wow. A lot of questions about him, about his work. Tell us about some of those questions, those first questions that you even asked of Will.
Yeah, well, the first thing was to just even understand what kind of tools he was using in his practice. And you couldn't have a more opposite set of artists together, even though we really are so similar on other levels, which we found out later. But in terms of my work, I am a poet and I'm a writer, and I live very much in the world of romanticism, nature, social justice, and because his work is so demonstrative, he immediately lets you interact with it and lets you experience the wonder. And so then I was able to find out, hey, he started coding at the age of, I think it was 8 or 9, he was DJing by the age of 11. He has lived around the world, and he was focusing on technology and how that can bring us actually closer together through playfulness. And that was something I had I never really heard an artist talk about it before, so I had seen installations that were very interactive and very playful, but to have an artist speak with you about creating that in order to embetter humanity was truly wonderful, and so we took it from there.
That's beautiful. So the idea of open source, I'd love to open the conversation with this. Can you explain or describe what open source is for the people that are not maybe technologists like me in the room?
Yeah, actually the week of Web Summit is the perfect space to talk about open source. But open source means that you reveal, I would say, and you share, you reveal how you accomplish what you accomplished. You share how you created what you created. So for example, if you create an app, an open source app is an app where everyone has access to the code, meaning everyone can see how the app is coded, and people can take that code and create something with it themselves. So it's the idea of sharing and also giving access and being able to have access to tools, to learning. And so I always thought of, a kid that's somewhere in a village, in the middle of nowhere with an internet connection. And so on my website, there's a tech lab. And the tech lab is where I share how I do my work. So the project has the finished projects. And the tech lab has how those projects, or how the tech for the project was created. And I openly share how I created things, often step by step. And a couple of them are very detailed, like really step by step. And so if you're living in the middle of nowhere and you come across this, maybe you can learn maybe electrical engineering or how to combine different things to create, just based on looking at the documentation.
Wow. So open source is very much a practice, right? It's a practice of developing coding technologies like this, right? So you use them as a practice, you share as part of your creative process as well.
Yes.
And so is that something that you've always integrated in your life, this idea of open source, or where does this idea of open source come from? Where does this passion for open source come from? What is that?
I think it comes from seeing that when we share things with one another as a humanity, versus hoarding the knowledge. And currently the business model is like, it's the patent things. So everything is closed source, so no one sees how it's done, how it's created, so that you have the advantage on the marketplace. But that doesn't proliferate innovation, because when something is open source and everyone has access, someone will take that and do something that you didn't think of, so actually you could benefit from it. And for me, I saw how the world was based on competition, me against you, and we're gonna kill each other for this piece of food, and very much ego-driven. And I saw that different things happen when I started noticing when people work together and help each other, they not only do they become happier, because competition is me against you, they help each other, they grow together, and they create something amazing, because it's different people coming together, but also they're doing it in a way where they're open, they don't have necessarily their shield to protect themselves from someone stealing their idea. So it creates a different dynamic, and it gives people like myself the ability to learn from others, because I learn from others that shared with me. That's also why I have a tech lab where I share, because that's how I learn a lot.
Let's go all the way back to age 8, like Rhea said. You were DJing, coding at a very young age. And let's speak about that open source kind of concept. Was that always something that you did even as a young kid? What does open source mean, or did it mean for you then? Did it mean anything for you then? And what was that?
Yeah, so obviously the term, I'm not sure it even existed yet. But as a kid, I would just take batteries. So yeah, I was DJing young. Like at 11, I was.
What were you playing? What were you playing?
I started with Heavy D.
Heavy D.
Yes.
Yes. Cue that one up.
Yeah. So yeah, I was raised in hip hop basically, and I had a stepdad that was a DJ, and and he would have access to records, like they were called record pools. So DJs would have access to vinyls before they come out. And so we always had like the latest records. And all I had to do was make sure everything was like organized and clean. I had to put it back exactly how I found it, and I could play it.
Very nice. So just set the setting for us. Where did you grow up?
So this is in New York City.
New York. Where in New York?
30. This is 31 Union Square West was my building.
All right, 31 Union Square.
That's exactly.
Wow.
Just 15th Street and between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
I think. No, but so that was, so you were growing up in the middle of the city, literally in the middle of the city, in Union Square.
Yeah.
When I think Tower Records was still open, probably, or Virgin, at least Virgin in Union Square was still open. And you had this access to all of this music. So, of course, you had to put it, when you took it out, you had to put it back. But were you just DJing for yourself, or were you DJing for other people?
So, at first I was DJing for myself, making mixtapes.
Okay.
And mixing and learning how to mix, how to go from one record to the other. And I was queuing every record because I was manually doing the BPMs on each record and then putting a sticker on each record. So that's one of the tasks I was given. Like you take this BPM machine and you tap it every time you hit a beat. You get a BPM number, you write it on the sticker, you put it on the vinyl. So then when it's time to mix, you know which records have the same BPM, so you go from one to the next. But what was the question?
Were you playing for yourself? Well, clearly you had a job. Clearly that gave you a job. Your stepdad gave you a job. But other than that, exploring the music, were you exploring it for yourself? Were you exploring it with other people? Or
So that myself, but then I started DJing for friends, so I had a 13th birthday, and he was working with Prince, and so he had the key to the club. So I threw my 13th birthday in the club, invited all my friends, and that's when I started like DJing with people, like 4 people, and then
At 13. Wow. All right. What club was that?
I think it was called Virgo, downtown LA.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you had moved from New York to LA by that point, by
Yeah.
age of 8 years. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so you were in the club DJing for your friends at your birthday, but
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and then once in a while he would take me on different gigs, and he'd give me 15 minutes to just,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what did that evolve, or did,
I think it evolved into writing and songwriting,
yeah.
because then I moved. It was a different context, and I just went into writing, and I was kind of like becoming a rebel of the system, kind of, and then so I just started like just writing lyrics,
Wow.
and started, yeah, and then actually at 16 I actually had a record deal with Morton,
Wow.
like for a demo.
And yeah. How did coding come into this stuff?
Okay,
So at the same time, you're DJing for friends, you've got this record deal coming, but coding comes up. How did that come up?
so I think I always had a connection with electronics since I was a kid, because I don't know, I felt like I was one with my toys. I was moving with a battery. So what happened was, the first year I got to LA, I had a class, a computer class, and it was like they were teaching us how to draw shapes with code. So you would draw some amount of pixels and choose a direction, and you would create these shapes. And then I think the summer after that, I ended up at an uncle's place. There was a big party, but I didn't like the party. I was bored. I was 11, and I got on his computer and I started coding shapes. And I think that's when it was like, it just felt, yeah, there's something about code turning math into graphics. Yeah.
Yeah, math is featured heavily in your background. You have a love for math and the translation of that. How did you? I mean, math doesn't come easy for me. So, what does it feel like?
It's like fun. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't have very good grades in most classes, but math, I think that's where I had the best grades. Yeah.
Very cool. So, I mean, fast forward a little bit, right? So, you started coding at a very young age. You're DJ. You have a record deal, but where did that go? Where did the record deal go? What happened?
I recorded some stuff. The producer, the guy that produced, he wanted to put it on the market. But like, so there's these magical creatures that are just appearing and disappearing. But when they're using it, they're doing backflips and doing all kinds of stuff. And so I caught a couple of videos of them practicing for the first time.
Wow, so that's a rope of light.
Yeah,
That's what it is, right?
yeah.
And wow.
Yeah, and here are other videos. So this is what it looks like.
So, like, how did you come to that collaboration? I mean, that's you working with 4 other artists as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How did that concept come about?
So I know the founder of the dance company, and he knows my work, and he just asked me, hey, why don't you do, can you make a jump rope made of light?
Just straight up.
Straight up. He's also the reason why I made an LED mask. Because first I made a mask, so during the days in 2020 where we had to wear masks, I made a mask that looked like a warrior mask. So when people had just like this, I was just walking in like a mask. And he was like, yo, put LEDs on it. So,
Can I make a t-shirt?
yeah.
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 Exciting. So the head of this dance company said, look, can you make me a jump rope?
Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah.
try it out.
Yeah, they're called the Funky Monkeys.
Funky monkey.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, wow, have you seen those double Dutch competitions,
Yeah.
Right.
Really interesting dynamic that is. It has such a history.
Yeah.
Culture as well.
And just to show an example, after each project, like when you get to the end of the page, you can go to the tech lab,
Yeah.
and you hit it, and then it's like how it was created.
So this is the open source.
So this is, I basically share the process from beginning to end.
Is it ever, I can imagine that, is it linear usually? So someone comes to you and says, make me a light jump rope of light, or a jump rope of light.
Right.
Do you automatically know how that's going to work and how it's going to happen?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. How do you get there?
Imagination, and then research,
Yeah.
and then, and it's crazy because the mind will like connect dots. That's why I like the art of making stuff like this is that the mind just starts to like just go in all kinds of places. So like, how can this be done?
And so, your mind's going all different types of places. You're doing the research. I could imagine you're trying things, different things. Like, how do you know you're done? Because it feels like if your mind is so expansive, you could kind of do everything. Like, you could keep going, right? Keep iterating. How do you know that's it?
Right. I guess to have an objective, like step 1, step 2.
Yeah.
And once you meet the objective, that's done. Then he told me, once I created what I created, he was like, okay, that's good. Yeah.
So that feedback was good. And then in terms of like documenting the process as open source, how is that as a practice? Like, is there something that you have to do differently than if you were just making it for yourself? What do you have to do differently?
I would say
to
that.
make this an open source. Yeah.
Let me see if I can do a screen share. Oh, I see. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
This could work. Rhea, do you see? Where do you see?
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Okay. She sees it.
So like, what goes into making this open source? Like, how do you have to practice? How do you have to do this in order to make it an open source?
Basically,
Differently than if you just made it.
Basically, as I go through the process of figuring out how to do it, I document it with photos and video. And so it's like, sometimes it's like each time I make one little change, I take a photo.
Oh, wow.
Then I make one change, I take a photo. Then I make another change, I take a photo. It could be like very incremental, like I have other examples where you can see like it's really step after step.
Where's your mask?
Yeah, I can show you for the math. This is what we're gonna, today is about the top 3, but there's a lot of documentation. for this one.
So it's a real like documentation process. So I can imagine you have a camera set up and you really have to pause,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
Like you can't just power through something. And
exactly.
finish it.
You don't power through anything.
Wow.
Yeah, that means you stop at each moment. At each moment.
Have you thought about that? Like what that does for your creative practice? Like stopping at each moment? Like I can imagine that's...
I know one thing it does is like this one is one I posted on Instructables, which is it's owned by Autodesk, but it's like a place where people can learn how to make anything. And the documentation is so clear that it ended up getting a lot of views and being shared by like Arduino and these different companies, because you can actually go through it and make it yourself, because of the detail that goes into
Wow.
sharing the process, like each step. But I think for the practice, it's also great because I can, when I want to do something again, I don't have to start from the beginning. I can just go back to what I documented, and oh yeah, that's how I did it. So it creates a database.
Yeah. It's almost like a kind of like scientific methodology as well. It's something that someone can replicate easily and expand on or experiment with. But they have a basis to start with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's very cool. Maybe this is a good place to pause a little bit. I'm going to turn to the audience, so there is a bit of a Q&A kind of element here. Anyone have any questions for Rhea or Will or both of them together about their work, the process of what they shared so far?
When we were talking earlier, so you were telling me about the experimenting in coding and then DJing, and when you decided to combine this together?
Let me see.
You already did that, Will.
Yeah, I think like when I decided to combine them.
Yes.
What was the first thing I did?
Are you doing? Were you making mixtape, impressing some high school girl? What was the moment? Like it was just you were just experimenting and just.
DJ was definitely cool. DJing at a club.
Yeah. I love when you're impressing people, right? That's coming back to the DJ.
I think yeah, it came later. I think it came with
Was that the fashion show? And then there was also like the sacred geometry one with the movement, and I think that one was with music.
yeah, and okay, I'm remembering now too. So hold on, let me share my screen again. So, well, I don't have the very first on the website because it happened in Berlin, and I had a cousin that was DJing at clubs in Berlin, and I started doing stuff in his room, but then I ended up going to Miami and I did this, and this is like, I think when it like kind of came together. So this involves body movement and music I made. move my hands like this, I'm animating the visuals, and the number of fingers I'm choosing determines the speed, from 1 to 10 fingers.
Of the animation cycling.
Yeah. And the bubbles are created by the sound. Yeah.
So this is when it came together.
Yeah.
This is when it was.
So we know where to go when we're in Berlin next time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what inspired what I'm going to be doing now, because after this, I was like, I don't want a computer or anything. Like, I just want to be free with my body.
Nice. Nice. Any other questions before
Yes, I have a
think we
question.
can-
How much AI are you using?
So this is before AI. So I had to do everything myself. I realized AI is not easy for art, for me. Maybe I have to become a better prompter. But for technical things, I find that it's much easier. But for doing creative things, I've struggled. Like I've tried, but it's always like doing some stuff I don't want.
So for the research on how to build the circuits.
I haven't used AI for that. But I did use it for some of the software that I'm developing now. It's just it's basically doing the work a lot faster than I would, but it's all for like technical things. It's not for creative artistic, but it's very helpful because now it's like you start to feel it's actually pretty crazy because like time becomes different because like if you're able to do something very fast in a small amount of time, so you can start creating some crazy stuff. Like you can become a powerhouse easily with AI.
The creative side of that is still not.
I think it depends for who, because some
For you.
artists use it. For me, yeah.
For you, yeah.
Yeah.
What could you kind of nail down why it's not working for you? Why it doesn't work?
I haven't
for you?
I haven't put in the time
Okay.
into it for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, the coding part, it's also creative, isn't it?
It is. It is. But there's it's just people may not experience the coding. So this is for what other people will experience. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
It was mandatory if it's a web summit thing.
And AI has to feature somewhere. Feature somewhere. Well, maybe the opposite of AI. Oh, sorry. Do we have another question?
Sorry.
I'm just curious if you still engage in your like foundational analog technology of DJing with vinyl.
Am I still DJing with vinyl?
Yeah, do you still do that?
I don't have
Just for
techniques
your own
anymore.
love. Yeah.
I don't have techniques anymore, and actually we had this amazing collection, like crazy collection, and it's no longer here.
Oh.
But so, I mean, I love analog. Anything still like analog that exists now, I'm still in love with it. Like even just a jack. Like the jack is one of my greatest loves because I can use a jack.
I see you, Rhea.
The jack is, I don't know, it's so 80s.
Yeah.
And it's at the same time, you can do so much with a jack. It's like, one part of the jack is like you can use it to send data, receive. There's a plus and there's electricity in the ground. Like jacks are amazing. I love jacks. And that jacks are analog. Any technology that's analog, that's for me, jack is kind of like ginkgo biloba tree.
Wow.
Because people say that the ginkgo trees have been here since the beginning of time, Earth, that it survived anything that happened from the beginning. That's one of the trees with the oldest DNA and genetic makeup, and it survived all of that, while many things went extinct. So I feel like the jack is kind of like a ginkgo biloba tree.
There we go.
Although it's threatened by Bluetooth, but it's
Threatened, but it's not going away anytime soon. I don't see a Bluetooth setup here. I love that. Are there any more questions, really quick?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Regarding like your colors that you use and like the lights that you use, the temperatures and whatnot. What like is the main inspiration? Is it something from comics? Is it something from a certain artist that you liked in the past, or what's like? Where does it come from, or is it just like where do you take your inspiration from?
That's a good question because I don't know.
Oh, no way!
I think I've worked a lot with color.
Yeah.
So I went to art school and I had
Everything's okay.
Okay.
so in art school we had color theory.
Yeah.
We started learning about color and we're using paint and different things. But then that's when with creative coding, what I would do so there's a guy that's a pioneer in creative coding. His name is Joshua Davis. And he's based in New York. And I went to his workshop and basically he was hacking everything. And I ended up working for him as well in New York. But basically, he taught me how to he taught me that there's always balance in color in nature. And so we would take photos, we would take the photo, put it in Photoshop, and then he wrote a program where you could upload the photo, and it would immediately give you the color codes. And then we would take the color codes and put it in a random algorithm. And then we would map that then we would draw different things. And we would tell the program, hey, I want you to take all these colors that we used and randomly apply them to all these drawings that we did. Then take all these drawings and we want you to randomly choose the size and the location on the screen. And so we would start drawing composition, and every time you hit the space bar, you have a new composition with colors. So the colors come from nature, then it's digitized. And I would do compositions like that and take it to color theory.
They're on lock. They're like so good.
Yeah.
In terms of how they work together. Like
yeah. And then he would look at my stuff and he would be like, this is not supposed to work.
Yeah.
But it does.
It does.
And it was like, it's nature. I'm not the genius. I just took the photo. I would find things. And so that's how we were doing it. It's funny because at the time, too, we were, once Adobe came to the studio, and he showed them how he was hacking like Illustrator and all this stuff that he taught me how to do. And then they were like, wow, we didn't even know you could do that. And so yeah, it's like using, and then, yeah, so it's like using technology, not necessarily for what it's designed for, but for what you can use it for. So for the colors, I think it's from playing so much with color. First, playing with it like that, and then playing with it individually myself, like choosing and picking, and then I actually don't know. I think it's something in the resonance of the color.
You just got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With that, maybe we should take a look into, or take a, excuse me, you can take us on a journey into BodyX,
Okay.
and you can see this in real life.
Yeah. Which is an instrument, a wearable instrument. And I'm developing the tech for it, and
I'm doing some video.
Process.
Yeah, that's what I usually shoot,
I
but I
started
can share with
teaching
you.
myself how to sew because I knew I wanted to combine circuits and fabric. And well, actually now I make all my clothes, but essentially it was really to make this. And I'm already starting version 2. And this is processing, which is an open source kind of programming environment, a Java language kind of environment for creating all kinds of stuff. And so there's thousands of lines of code here. So it's a very unique design. It's not like a typical glove. So this left glove has what are called capacitive sensors. And a capacitive sensor is something that you touch. So like a drum, you touch a drum. So every time I touch my fingers like this, I can trigger something. Yeah, they're communicating. They're communicating over Wi-Fi. And this one has bend sensors. So for both the touch sensors and the bend sensors, I'm using conductive fabric. So it's fabric that conducts electricity as a way to integrate the circuit. So when I touch my fingers, you see different colors. And if I touch a button here, the button is made also of conductive and what are called piezo-resistive materials. So this is a button made out of t-shirt fabric. So if I touch like this light comes on and it turns on what's a gyroscope accelerometer. And I have 3 more buttons here that are also made with like a t-shirt material. Yeah, so as you can see, the LEDs react to my movements. Also, the lights react to my movements. And yeah, I can change the LEDs as well. And so the LEDs, yeah, I make LED structures that are based on synergetics. Synergetics are ways to construct structures based on what Buckminster Fuller was doing to build geodesic domes and other things. And so the idea is to build LED structures as part of the performance. So they can react to sound, they can react to movements. All right, so I'm gonna run the first thing I have is a looper. I made a looper that I can control with these. So let's see, we can loop around. Okay, here's the looper. So when I touch this finger, I should be able to record myself with the index finger. The middle finger, I should be able to overdub, so record layers upon layers. And this third finger, I should be able to play and stop the looper. And with this here, what do I do with this? Yeah, I'm going to control effects like reverb and delay, depending on where I position my hand in space. And then I can delete layers of overdubs by moving my hand fast in the air. And I can also clear the whole track to start all over again with a fast gesture and touching this finger and bending these. So let's see. Let's see if it works. Okay, so now. I think the electricity of the capacitive sensor. Can you hear me? Let's see if I can affect reverb. Yeah, willpower, I'm on the mic, freestyling and I'm feeling alright. I just made these with my bare hands. God damn, can you understand? I've been working on this for years. All going through hell, I had no fear. I had to face crazy challenges. Now I'm here. It's time for advantages to come my way. I gotta raise a bunch of money so I can bring this to the world. The boys, the girls, this is precious. It's like some pearls. More power, that be my name. Every day life is like a game. Do what you love and believe in yourself. That's what it's about, yo, that is that true wealth. Yeah, we gotta chase money like donkeys. After, that's how it is, but yo, willpower is my name. Every day I got a place not the same. Every moment is an opportunity. Every day I gotta get on. You and me, we gotta rise and stand for what we believe, understand. Whether you are a woman or a man, you are a soul living and you stand for some real truth that lives inside of you. Yeah, we're coming true, your dreams come true. They live in your mind and your imagination. One nation, one world of human beings and animals, insects, living spirits. Don't feel it. Can you hear it? So yeah, that was the looper, and now I'm going to show you this other thing. Actually, at the first matriarch unseen, I showed a previous iteration of what I'm going to show now. And so let's go. So yeah, as you can see, the cube's going to mirror my movements. It's going to combine the physical and the virtual. And I'm working on a newer and better version of that now. How all kinds of, everything you see, you have data of the gyroscope in here, which is where my hand is positioned in space and how fast I'm moving. And all different functionalities of BodyX pretty much displayed. And I'm gonna, so this is an attempt at how can I use this for playing music, for example, or how can I play with sound and visuals, even though the visuals are very bare at the moment, and lights. Oh yeah, we are free. Lights. So I can make we are free. I can make this sound reactive, so if how do I do that again? Oh yeah, I think it's... Whoop! Yeah, so now it's sound reactive, so the lights, whoop, 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 and the cues, whoop, 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 whoop. So I want to try something. I want to know if we all yell together, if we can make the cues tiny. You all ready? Yeah? I count to 3, and then we just yell, "Whoa!" Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Nice. And then I can turn off sound reactivity like this. We are free. So now they're just rotating to my movements. So I can play with sounds by bending my finger.
The power of the mind, the power of the mind.
For my DJs, my scratchers.
Listen to your soul. Listen to your soul. Listen to your soul.
Okay, so I have different sound banks in here too. I can load different sound banks. So let's load another sound bank.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Go deep. Go deep.
Okay, so what are the sound banks? Whoa, calm down. So yeah, drums are always a bit tricky because there's a small delay, but I'm playing with the drums. This is still bare, it's not developed yet, but okay, let's go to another sound bank. Raise your vibe. Does anyone know what a new little pointer exception is? They know. So this is something I have to fix in the code. In my sound bank, it's not looping properly. So let me restart.
Trust yourself. Trust.
Raise your vibe.
Also for the visuals, I made this like a graphic user interface with parameters that I can use to change the visuals, which I could also do with these gloves, but okay. So this is a synth that I started playing with. Thank you.
So what's next, Will?
I think air drum.
Air drums.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this was nice. Yeah.
So if someone wants to come over and play the BodyX instrument with you, how do they find it?
Not very personal.
I mean, with protection, of course. But how would someone collaborate with you? Yeah.
I'm open to yeah, I'm open to ideas. What I'm trying to do right now is raise 5,000 euros so I can buy the equipment that I need to start doing immersive performances. If anyone wants to donate, I take Bitcoin, Monero, euros, cash. But no, I'm open to things. I'm about to start working on version 2, which is a better design, a bit more like better than this. And then, yeah, I just need to raise the 5K I need to get the equipment that I need. And then I want to start performing, but I'm open. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, everyone. 5K. Let's go. First bidder. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, M8triarch. Michael, give it up for Michael. Thank you.
Yes, and again, we'll send an email, follow-up email. Please read them because it gives you an opportunity to follow these artists, follow these creatives, support the projects that they're working on. Again, make sure to share so that we don't get lost.
We don't get lost in the sauce.
In the sauce. It's still kind of like not great weather, so you're welcome to stay for a bit. Not too long because I'm super tired, but I do know how to go to sleep. But please hang out. Again, if you haven't met a stranger here tonight, please, before you leave, talk to someone that you've never talked to before, that you've never met before, and connect in some way, and come back again soon.
Yes.
Thank you. Matriarch.pt, please share pictures and videos, because I have iPhone 3, so all my stuff is not great. So I appreciate you sharing. Yeah?
I would love to see photos.
I'm so embarrassed. But share and make friends. I know, I keep thinking,
WILLPOWER Studios.